everybody, Gina DeLuca here. All right, so I so loved the last piece that I did that I want to make another one, and I wanted to use more of a reds color palette. And so the colors that I'm using, why have I not already had this set up? I have in this cup, which will be my background slash base coat, I have Arteza Bordeaux Red. I love this color, love it. I'm so in love with this color. It is just a beautiful deep red, and it's an opaque. There aren't a whole lot of opaque reds, and opaques are what work best for doing straight pours. I did use a transparent on the last one. It was Amsterdam, and I did get good results. We'll see if the results, turn out very differently with the opaque, and if it doesn't turn out the way I like it, I will do another, and I will try a transparent red and see if that matches the outcome of the last painting. Experimenting. So that is my base coat slash background. This color is a mixture of the Satin Enamel Americana Decor in pure white, the Bordeaux Red, and I have added a bit of the Cadmium Yellow hue just to add a hint of orangeness to it. It's a hint. It's like a whisper of it. And then this color is a mixture of the DecoArt Americana Decor Metallics in copper and in soft gold. I didn't want to use the 24 karat gold. I wanted it to have a softer feel to it, not quite as bold. So we'll see how this works out. We'll find out soon enough. These paints have been mixed 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol. And that mixture is then thinned with my concoction of 90% water and 10% Floetrol. So first mix with 2 parts Floetrol and then add the 10% Floetrol to 90% water mix to get the consistency that you're looking for, which is. So this consistency, now I have someone mowing a lawn. The consistency that we're working with is a 2 on my consistency scale. It does make a mound, but it disappears rather quickly. I hope you can hear me over that lawnmower. Whee! All right. So that's what we're working with today. Before we get started, have you seen the Fluid Art Inspiration cards? If you have, you can fast forward about a minute, but if you have not, what we have are 52 cards. There are 42 technique cards, and each technique card has an associated video here on YouTube that gives you all of the information that you need, the exact paint brand, colors, consistency, recipe, and of course how to do the technique itself. And then there's this box here, which contains a tip for that particular technique. And here at the bottom is the color palette that was used in that particular painting. And then these 2 boxes can actually be used as the basis of a 2-color palette. You can build off of those 2 colors or just use them by themselves. And there are 8 bonus color palette cards. Each one contains 5 color palettes. You can use all of the colors or just some of the colors. Mix and match the bonus color palettes with the technique cards, and you have more combinations than you could ever paint in a lifetime. These are available at my website, ginadeluca.net, and also on Amazon.com. And if you get them from Amazon, please do leave feedback. It's very helpful to the sellers over there. Okay, so I do want to say that I am an affiliate of DecoArt and Arteza, and I'm super psyched about that because the Arteza paints work really, really well with the DecoArt paints for straight pours. I always get a great reaction between the paints. I think the Arteza paints are, you know, much more on the glossier end. Maybe it's just their formulation in general, but I've always gotten great results with the combination of these two for straight pours. So do check out the description box because I do have affiliate links, and I know there's a code for 20% off for the DecoArt in the description box as well. It's a GD2022H2, but you can find that in the description box. And let's get started, shall we? Okay, I'm gonna put about 2 ounces in my pour cup, and I'm going to lay down a base coat. I want this to be able to slide around easily. You can see the coverage is just amazing. The reason there's so much of this canvas already covered, usually I just do the edges, but this stuff spreads so far. It really is impressively pigmented, I will definitely say. You get great coverage. I'm just gonna do a bit more. I want this to be able to slide around easily. And I cover my edges first because, especially with the rounds, for a regular canvas, in a straight pour, it can get kind of thin on the sides, especially when I'm using Floetrol. So I just try to make sure that I get the best coverage possible. But especially for these round canvases, the edges aren't smooth. And so, you know, it kind of has these ripples in the canvas, just the way it has to be attached. And I want to make sure that my canvas is fully covered. I don't want to have to go in and try to touch it up later and match colors and whatnot. So I just make sure it's fully covered to begin with. It's really hard, even just trying to do this here, it's hard to get it covered so it's fully saturated. Okay, I'm going to put some paint in a cup. I'm going to do the gold first. I'm going to pour from up high. I want this to blend and sink. That blending is what gives those cool three-dimensional boulder cells. I'm just gonna drizzle a little of this over top. That's what I did last time. I'm gonna do it again. And then for my satin enamel concoction. And these satin enamels are great cell makers. And just because, you know, maybe they don't have the exact color that you're looking for, you're not using these satin enamels straight anyway. They can crack if you do. You want to use some other paint. So I usually do about 1/3 to 1/2 of the satin enamel with another paint. And that seems to get it done. All right, I'm just going to come over top so that these paints that are on the top have a paint to react with as they're pouring out. That helps to give me cells all the way through. All right, let's make a mess, shall we? Okay, I think I was spinning in this direction. I'm trying to keep it as centered as possible. And as I get closer to the center, I will get closer to the canvas. That will give me more control. There's this gold at the bottom, and I need that to come out because that's going to give me my center. There we go. And I stuck my finger in it. Mega points off for the dismount. Okay, let's fix that. It happens. Alrighty. I don't want to overdo it. Okay, I think this will be Rose Lake. Fingers crossed. Okay. Just try to get this weight centered a little bit because this canvas has been leveled to the table but not to the spinner. The spinner has a bit of a wobble to it, so I cannot level to the spinner. Let's pop the bubbles. So obviously I will be losing a lot of this here, but the main thing is the center. To get this center as perfect as possible to look like a rose. Because whatever else happens will still look cool if that center looks cool. I mean, for the most part. Okay. I'm not worried about this. More cells are going to pop up in there. Not worried about that at all. I do want to get as many of these bubbles before I stretch as possible. This technique does create a lot of bubbles. Now, the thing about that is it can actually work to your benefit. These bubbles, when a bubble is lying in a layer underneath, and say there's a bubble lying underneath that red, it's one of these other cell making colors, and when that bubble pops and it brings that paint up with it, it creates that little cell. And because the matte paints have a hydrophobic effect, meaning it pushes away water, so it's pushing away this, or it pushes away a liquid, you know. But if the matte paints come up against this glossy paint, it pushes that glossy paint away, and that's how you wind up getting these cells that start off tiny, but they wind up growing. And there's a gnat. I'm gonna have to do something about that. But let's give this a spin. I'm seeing some lacing starting to happen in here. I'm not sure what effect that's gonna have. I guess we're gonna find out. You don't have to spin fast. It doesn't have to be fast. It will still move. I like to maintain as much control as possible. Even things out if I need to. Now, I know there's going to be people telling me to stop, but this is still a lot of paint, and that's not good. You know, you don't want too much paint, so I do need to get a bit more off. I'm probably going to have to lose like another ring. Okay, I am going to let this sit and do what it's going to do. I will probably wind up seeing more cells popping up there. but it's a bit of a different effect than the other one for sure. But you know, these paints all react with each other differently. That is just the nature, you know. Copper, you know, if I had done just the copper, it would have had a different effect than mixing the copper with the gold. The background color makes a difference. It all has its effects. But my little rose area, it looks like a rose. I'm not sure about the lacing, if that's doing it for me, but we'll find out. So back in a few. Okay, here it is. I went back and looked at the video. I edited the previous portion, which gave me the opportunity to do some post-game analysis. And what I believe I did differently between this piece and that piece, these rings are much fatter, and these came out much thinner because I was pouring slower and spinning faster. So next time I will slow my spin rate down and I will speed up the pour a bit, and that will give me the fatter rings, which I really like because that's what really gives it that 3D effect. And this does not have that quite as much. So that is what I learned from this piece. I feel that that is a valuable piece of information if you wanted to attempt this for my next attempt. And also, don't stick your finger in the middle. That will help as well. Can't believe I did that. I mean, actually, I can't believe it doesn't happen more often because I have no depth perception, so. You would think I do that more frequently. But there it is. I hope you learned something. I sure did. I foresee the next one to go better than this one. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff. Help me stay afloat in the, you know, those algorithm things. And do check out the description box below for links to my PayPal tip jar if you feel so inclined. My affiliate links, DecoArt and Arteza, which are featured in this painting. And also Blick and Amazon and Color Art. If you purchase those items by entering through the link provided, I will receive a small commission at no additional cost to you. Also in the description box, you will find a link to my website, GinaDeLuca.net, where you can find my art and music and the fluid art inspiration cards for sale. And last but not least, you will find the link to our Facebook group. Go make some art. Join us there. Post your masterpieces. Ask your questions. Get some inspiration. And that is it for today. And remember, there are no fails, only opportunities to learn. And so I learned something very valuable on this piece. And you don't get good by doing things perfect every time. You got to make the mistakes so you learn how to do it better every time. All right, y'all. That's it for me for today. I hope y'all have a beautiful day. Now go make some art.